and welcome to Farming Simulator 19 Guide to Ploughing. Now if you're new to Farming Simulator, then this is the video for you. If you're not new, then you're probably not going to learn anything. So here we are at Fellsbrunn, and we're going to go through the basics of ploughing. Now this plough I've got here is just a basic 2-meter plough, and it needs 85 horsepower. Now this tractor is 90 horsepower, so the importance of matching the two up are quite important for them to work properly. They will work, but if you put a bigger plough on a smaller tractor, it will just work a lot slower. Now there's quite a few different ploughs out there. Like this one is counterbalanced by the back wheel there, and then we have the one over here which hasn't got a counterbalance. This one is just hanging off the back of the tractor. Now that one's a little bit bigger. This one's 2.5 meter cut, and it needs 180 horsepower. Now I've got this tractor here which is 170 horsepower, so it's just underpowered, but it still will tow it, not a problem. Now you can add wheel weights which will help, but the main help is adding extra wheels. So here we've got a JCB, and this is one of the ones I'm using in my series at the moment, and this is a great tractor. It's 234 horsepower. Now this plough behind it requires 300, but with the extra wheel weights, with the wider wheel option, it gives you twice as much traction, so the tractor can actually pull it. So that is important to match up. So if your plough is going slow, it should be ploughing at 6 or 7 miles an hour. If it's not, then it's down to some of the settings, like it needs extra weight on the front, or it wants bigger wheels or a bigger tractor. It's as simple as that. Now just to start your ploughing off, I'll show you in this one first of all. When you get the plough, out of the shop, it comes in a folded state like that, so you can enable it to go down the road. When you come to work with it, let's get the menu up so you can see what's going on with the buttons. Now it's all R1, L1, holding down the buttons and then pressing other buttons. So to unfold it, we've got there on the screen now, top left, unfold plough. So you unfold the plough and it will unfold, put it in the working position. Now you can actually turn the plough as well, whereas you want it over the other side, you can start it from the other side. Now the worker does this automatically. It's for drainage, where they go up one side and then they come down the other side and turn plough. But you don't have to do that. It doesn't make any difference, it still will plough the ground. So all we do is come up to the field. Now this field here, you can see right round the edge, that is the field where if we use a worker or we cut ourselves without creating fields, it will just plough into that. I'll start the worker off, which is the circle button, and he just drops the plough down and he just will work away. Just get on with it, simple as that. Now that's the easy way of doing it, using the workers. Now if you're doing it yourself, you might come up to the field, come to here and go, right, let's do the worker. Oh, we won't go. Oh, we did go. But the worker, if it's here, well, typical. Sometimes you can come up to a field in different tractors and ploughs, press the start worker, and he says completed his task, and all it is that the plough needs to be closer onto the field for enabling him to work. Now this plough has got an extra articulation on it. You can see if I hold down the L1 button and do the right, and that brings it in and pulls it out. You want it on that setting where it's closer, and then you get a wider cut on your plough. So that's the basics with it. All you've got to do is attach it attach it on the back of the tractor, bring it up, put it in the ploughing position, and off you go. Now if we bring it over to this side and drop it down, you can see it's cutting into the field, but the bit what it's not doing nothing, it's not working whatsoever, and that's because it will only work on that bit of that field. If we want to make this field bigger, then we can use if we hold down the L1, is to allow it to create fields. Now when we push that and we drive with the plough, now it makes that field bigger. So it's as simple as that. To make your fields bigger, you just come in with a plough, allow to create fields, and you just make them bigger, or you match them up, do what you want with them. You're better off using the maximum amount of area you've got on your field, because it's extra yield. Simple as that. Now this is something what the worker will not do. You have to do it yourself. If I press the worker now, he's working. No, he's stopped now. Yeah, he's not going to carry on. But you are better off creating fields yourself. Sometimes the worker will do it. He's not meant to, but if you leave him to it, he could just go off in a totally opposite direction if you don't keep an eye on him. So that is how you make your fields bigger. Now what we need to do is go into the shop, and I can show you where the icons are for the ploughs and what you need to match up. So let's look at the tractors first, and we'll go and look at this little Fiat here. Now this little Fiat is saying 150 horsepower, so that's what you need to match up with the plough. So we go over to the Ploughs, and there's the Ploughs. We click on the plough, and these are the different ploughs we've got available to us. We've got a couple of extra mod ploughs here, and that's 1.5 metre, and you see that says 80 horsepower, so that needs a minimum of 80 horsepower. If you got less horsepower, it will pull it, but it'll go slower. And the same with that one and that one. That's 100, that's 140. The big ones, which this is the largest one we've got at the moment, that's a 550 horsepower. And then we've got a 360 horsepower, 300, and then 180, and then down to an 85, which that's the second smallest one we've got at the moment. Now when do you know how to plough? When to plough, not how to plough. I just showed you how to plough, but when to plough, you go into the map, and we go into the map menu here, zoom out a little bit, and you can see we're working on fields number 31 and 30 at the moment. Now on the right hand side you've got all your filters. Let's go back to all your filters, and you scroll up and down, and you can turn these on and off. This just shows you your tractors and various things what are going on around the map. That's your farm, that's missions, that one's sell points, that one is your different implements, that's trailers, and that one is harvesters and tractors. So all we do is you can turn them on or off, simple as that. Then scroll down, and then you've got fruit types. Scroll over to growth, soil composition, fruit types. So today we are looking at, we put it onto the soil composition menu. Now if we zoom into field number 31, you can see where we've, on the map there, you've got the different, we'll turn the weed off, you just highlight it and it turn on or off, and we'll turn the fertilizer off because we don't need to really see that, and we leave the lime and needs ploughing. Now as you can see that field number 31 isn't red, so it doesn't need ploughing, so I didn't really need to plough that field. But this strip I've cut on the right hand side of that field as we go up, then that now requires lime. You'll find that anywhere you create fields, it needs to have lime in it straight away. Now going over to this field, I've already cut some strips at the bottom and a strip at the top and a strip down that edge, and as you can see, as you start ploughing into the field, the red disappears. So this says you no longer need to be ploughed. Now when you start the map, you have got the option to turn the periodic ploughing on or off, and there it is there, periodic plough it on and off. And all it means is that every 3 harvests, with that on, every 3 harvests you're going to have to plough. If you don't want to bother with ploughing, you just put that in the off position and it won't make any difference whatsoever. Now the other thing you've got to bear in mind is the dirt. Here we've got the dirt menu and you've got fast, normal, slow and off. Now this affects the maintenance on your implements and tractors. So if it's off, it's currently, there's a bit of a glitch with it at the moment, so although you turn it off, it's still charging maintenance for your vehicles and your implements. But when it's sorted, you will be able to turn that off, and all that does with the off position is the ploughs we've got currently being used, once you use it for so long, you might come to the field and you see it slowing down. And you think, well, why is that slowing down? And basically you've got to go into your garage, and then when you scroll on your owned items, underneath next to the owned items, it will say push L3 as for maintenance, for repair. Now if you do that repair, it reinstates that plough, for instance, back to original working, and it will go back to working at the same speed. So if your plough's slowing down, that could be one of the reasons for it, especially over time. If it's working fine and then it slows down, that's the reason for it. It's that button, the dirt button. Hopefully they get that sorted and we can just, it won't make any difference. You'll be able to turn it off and not worry about it, but it does have a dramatic impact. Basically, as soon as, if I do half this field with this plough, over half of it, and it will start slowing down and you will need to do maintenance. Right, so that's the bits in the menu sorted out. Now one of the other things you've got to bear in mind for ploughing is if you go onto the help and then when you scroll down to improving yield, you see in the middle there, plough after corn, potatoes, sugar beet and sugar cane, otherwise 15% minus on all your crops. So you will have to plough after corn, potatoes, sugar beet, sugar cane, regardless whether you've got periodic ploughing on or off. You're still going to have to, otherwise you're going to get that 15% loss each time you put your next crop in. So another thing to bear in mind. And now I've got this plough here needs 300 horsepower, and I've got a tractor with wheel weights and a weight on the front, and that is 313 horsepower. Now this is going slightly uphill as well, but it will work no problem. So we lower the plough down. Now we don't need a crate fields because we are in a field, so it will just cut this field, not a problem. We're going to use the worker and just let the worker do his thing with that, and he can go off and do his business. And you see he will just go up, get on with it and come back. Now a few things when you're using the plough, this one is also in an unfolded state. You can see it pulls in and out, and we can actually turn that plough as well, where you can turn it the opposite ways. Like I said, that's for drainage, but you don't need to do it. It doesn't affect it in any way. Now when you do start ploughing, now we've dropped it down there, if you can cheat it a little bit, where you can see I've come over a little bit more, and now it's leaving that line. So you basically need to work out how far over you can get away with ploughing, because sometimes on the other side of the plough, this bottom end, you can see it does a little bit further than what it should do, which is great really. You can see there I've got the worker going, and you can see he will just get on with that. But it is just getting used to where you need to be, because if you do leave a line, then when you come to plant that field, you might not get crop in that line. So it's always better to try and make sure there's no lines left in between your ploughing. As easy as that. See, this one, he is going uphill as well, so that's why he's doing 4 or 5 mile an hour. He is underrated. Now if I've got bigger wheels on this, that would make a difference, and he'd probably be ploughing at 5 or 6. But the main purpose with this one is the hill. It's a big hill. Now you do need to leave enough room for these workers to turn round, because they do need, well, quite a bit of space. Sometimes they do it quite easily, other times they reverse up. But this time, yeah, he's going to reverse up and spin it around. Just like that. Right, now we go over and have a look at the big bud. I've got the big bud out because on the back of these you haven't got any lifting equipment, whereas on the back of here you have, because that's where you put your plough. So what you need is this item, which is called a trailed lifter, which just gives you a 3-point. So this attaches onto there, and that attaches onto the big bud. So that's how you get around that option. There's only a few tractors what you need to do this. And we attach onto that one. You see that's also in the folded state, because this is a 10.5 metre, I think it is. So we're going to unfold that plough now, and these obviously need a lot of room. They really do, especially when you start creating fields with them. You are better off doing the bulk areas with the larger ploughs, and then the smaller bits just infilling with the smaller ploughs, because these are just so long. Right, so we put the plough down and start pulling forward, and you see it's just a bigger version of it. That's all it is. Now he is pulling, you can see he's pulling at 7 mile an hour, which is pretty good, because he's going uphill and he will probably slow down. However, this is a large horsepower, so it should be okay pulling it. Now if you do run into problems, then you can use something like this. Now this has got the triples on it, and obviously the traction on this is a lot more than any of the others. It will just keep pulling anything. I did bring this up because I thought we might have struggled up that hill, but it seems to be, they all seem to be working fine. They really do. Now while they're all working, while we were talking about the maintenance earlier, to check the maintenance you press the options button, and then we scroll over to vehicle overview. Now when you scroll up and down on here, you see the top, the second one down is a Hulliman H488. Now it tells you how many days you've had it for, how long it's worked for, and what maintenance is required. As you can see, they're all dropping down from 99%. That's where it shows you how much maintenance is required. Now it won't show up in the garage menu until it gets to about 75 or 80%. As you can see all this stuff here, it all says yep, it's all good, everything's fine. Because this is a new map, that's what I haven't used anything yet. Yep, so there's no repairs to do. But when that comes in, you will see it. It will come up with a little symbol saying repair, and you just click that repair. Job's a good one. Right, they're going to have a little bit of a standoff. And now if we go back to the menu, you can see the bits what we've just ploughed, they are not red anymore. Now the other point in the menu as well is that you scroll over, you've got the growth menu, and this shows cultivated, growing, ready to harvest, harvested, ploughed, remove tops, withered. So at the moment you can see the blue there, that is where it was already cultivated, and then we change it to the plough state, which is the lighter colour just there, and that's how you know what's ploughed and what's not. But as you'll find on a lot of the maps, as soon as you start off, whether you turn the periodic ploughing or not, it will need ploughing. When you see, look at all those, they all want ploughing, whether you've got it turned on or off. Now the last thing I wanted to show you was what I was talking about earlier, where if you use one of the larger ploughs to create fields, it can cause a little bit of a problem. So we want to plough this bit up. So if I start the plough there, I like to create fields, and then it starts off right down the bottom there. And you see when you come, so the next line down, where it creates this V. And basically the bigger the plough, the bigger the V it is. So this is why it's better off using the coming in with the smaller ones, and then you can just plough this bit up going across the 90 degrees to that, and we can just fill that area in then. Easy as that. And it will plough when you're turning. Some ploughs are better than others. Keep an eye on the mods, because there's always lots of different ploughs coming out. You get ploughs what go on the front, so you can also plough on the front and then put your seeder on the back and seed at the same time. But yeah, easy as that. It's more of a case, as soon as you get going with it and you can see what you can do, what the workers like, what the workers don't like. But the main thing is with the workers is to keep an eye on them. Now one of the next things we need to cover is the reinstating fields, where you can put them back to originally what you've ploughed up, and that you need the meadow roller, which is available in the shop, and it is under miscellaneous, and we've got it set on the back of the John Deere over there. So I just want to do that little bit of ploughing there, and you see, right, I ploughed that, so you can join those two fields together. Let's get that out of the way. So here it is the meadow roller. This is it in its folded state. When you unfold it, it drops down, detach, then hook that on the back. Now wherever this rolls will reinstate the ground to grass again. So for instance, I didn't want to plough that bit, we just roll straight over the top of it, and it will reinstate it back to what it was before, which is a nice little way. So if you do have these problems with these V bits here, you can plough them in, or you can come in after and just tidy them up with the roller. It's a great bit of kit, this is. Easy as that, you just roll over the top of it, and there you go, just reinstates it back to how it was. So if you do make a mistake, you can just put it back easy as that. Cool. Well, I think that's a bit it for ploughing. If I've missed anything, I will drop it in the comments, and if there's anything you need to know, then send me a message. I will respond pretty quick. I normally get the messages straight away, so anything I can help you with, then all you have to do is ask. Right, well, if you enjoyed the video, found it helpful, then leave a like, and if you want to see more of this playlist, then hit the subscribe button and you won't miss out on any other videos. I'm just doing a current playlist with all the basics, so if you are new to Farming Sim, go and have a look at that and it will enlighten you a little bit more. Righto, well, thanks for watching. Till the next time, goodbye.